Right. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another live stream with Loudmouth Football and with my co host, Kish, who runs his channel Full 90 with Kish. Link is in the YouTube description. We are streaming live on Insta, YouTube, and Facebook. Right. So we'll have viewers from all over. So please do feel free to drop in, watch the game with us, let us know what the situation is like. And we have the lineups out. So we are using OBS Football for the pre-match, the live, and the post-match stream. So it'll keep getting updated. But what do you feel about the game, bro? Both the teams have had a weird blip. Tottenham, especially, like their blip is never ending. But Nottingham, like they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, once again, thanks for having me on. Listen, Spurs versus Nottingham Forest. I'm looking at the table now. Forest sitting in sixth position with Spurs in 16th,
Yeah,
behind the Wolves and United, just ahead of West Ham by 1 point, right? Um,
correct.
listen, I did expect, or my expectation was that Forest would have dropped out of the top four spot. Just felt as if they didn't have enough to kind of secure themselves in that Champions League qualification spot. And listen, the season isn't done as yet, right? I think they have
No,
like 7 more games or 6 more games to go. However, I think the momentum is with the teams like City, Aston Villa, and Newcastle United as well. So I think it's going to be really difficult um, for Forest to secure a spot in the Champions League position, right? However,
but
in
I
terms
think
of
I think the other way around. I think the third spot till the seventh is still open, right? So it's going to be an open horse race till it goes down to the wire. So I think Nottingham have good chances of getting back into it. They lost their games against Villa, Everton. They did get exposed defensively. Specifically, they used the back three against Everton, and against Villa, they were using their back four. But then I think that experimentation went a bit south, So I think yeah, they have an opportunity to get back into this game. I think Tottenham have had a torrid form in the Premier League. They won their game against Frankfurt, but still in the Premier League, they've just secured two victories in the last six or seven. So that's a massive statement to put out there. I think
I mean, in
Tottenham. I
terms
think
of this
Tottenham going
first
to lose
team,
this at home.
I I still stand on my opinion. I don't think they'll be making the top four. However, I do think that they will win today. And I mean, it's kind of funny because if they do win, then it would put them back into fourth spot, right? Um,
Yeah,
so if they win today, they would end up in fourth spot. They would be 1 point behind. Matter of fact, I think they would overtake Newcastle United in third, right? Yes, they
correct.
would overtake Newcastle United in third, so they would be sitting on 60 points if they do win today. They would be ahead of Newcastle and City. However, in its entirety, at the end of the season, if you're supposed to ask me, I do think that the top four will be Liverpool, Arsenal, City, and I'm going to say Newcastle United, right? So for me, I don't believe Forest. I don't believe they have enough firepower, especially seeing the recent blip that they would have had as well. They can qualify for European competition, which will be more than likely the Europa League, right? But in terms of Champions League, I'm not really seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, like we can have different opinions on this, but I do hear you for sure. Like I think yeah, if Nottingham is not there for sure, I don't see Chelsea being there either. Chelsea have had a weird hot and cold season, and specifically with their performances. In fact, barring Arsenal, I think every team is struggling with form. Even Liverpool, man, barring McAllister, I don't see anyone replicating the same performance that they have in the first season, right? I think Liverpool obviously is going to win the title. Arsenal is going to be second, but third and fourth is still in contention. And I see City somehow taking it away, man. I think City have found their form back, specifically with the makeshift left back who's playing in O'Reilly. I think he's
Yeah,
been tremendous for them. And Kevin De Bruyne again his parting season. So I think it's gonna be an emotional last couple of games for them. So I think they're gonna give it their all. And I see Nottingham going with them. But again, Newcastle is a special entrant too. I think Newcastle have an opportunity, especially Eddie Howe has already won a trophy with
I
them, right?
mean,
The
looking at
Carabao.
Newcastle fixtures, right? They have some difficult in comparison to the likes of City and Forest. They do have some difficult games coming up. Um, they have the next game. Their next game is against Ipswich, so I do expect them to win. Then they have Brighton, Chelsea, and the last two games will be against Arsenal away from home, and they will play Everton at um at home on the last day of the Premier League season. So they have some very difficult games coming up, but I still think they will be in that top four with the likes of City, Arsenal, and Liverpool as well.
What do you think about this comment down below? Spurs winning Europa or Amorim is gonna get United a European Cup?
I could see it both ways, to be honest. Postecoglou did state that he always wins in his second season,
True.
and he has an opportunity in which they have a more favorable team to play in terms of reaching to the final compared to United, where we will be facing a tough opposition from La Liga in comparison to Spurs, who they're facing a team from Norway. With all due respect, I don't think they're the strongest. Um, if they had faced Lazio, I believe it would have been a bit more difficult for Spurs. But I still think they will make it to the final. And I think if it's a United versus Spurs final, it can go either way. So it's very hard for me to make a prediction. I'm a United fan, obviously. However, yes, I could be biased and say that United will beat Spurs, but they have beaten us since season, right? So it's very difficult to predict.
Yeah, man. But I'm excited about this fixture. I think it's gonna turn the tail all over. But for United and like talking about United specifically in the Europa run, I think United have a good opportunity at hand. Tottenham with the form, I don't know about it, but then yeah, I mean, he might just get them to the finals, and let's see what happens from there. But the focus for tonight is the Premier League for sure. And Nottingham again, they are out with a couple of important players, specifically Ola Aina, who's been tremendous. The Nigerian has been in the helm of things. He's been a crucial element for um, you know no throughout the season, throughout the venture, right, that they've had under this manager. So I think they've been struggling a bit in terms of providing that attacking impetus through the right flank. But again, Milenkovic and Murillo have handled the affairs pretty well. But again, the last two games they lost against Everton and Aston Villa. So I think that's going to be I think that might play a role, might give some confidence to Tottenham specifically because they've been so injured, man, this season, and they've been leggy, and they look just gassed altogether.
Yeah. Um, in terms of the Spurs team, right? They would have won their last game. I mean, in all competition that they would have played, which would have been in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Um, which was a very important game for them. They played a good team in Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt, which they got that crucial win. I think Solanke would have scored in that game. Solanke
Yes, Solanke
scored
scored. Yeah.
in that game. In terms of the Prem, they did get a huge defeat, or they faced a huge defeat against a good Wolves team who they've won like five out of their last five, or some 5 out of their last five, or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and even that United game, I'm yet to watch that game, but they did edge us by 1 goal to nil. And so I think Spurs, I think they have something to prove in this game. And I think it's good for them to finish the season strongly as well in terms of having confidence to finish in the Europa League as well, because you need a lot of confidence going into the final, irrespective of whichever team you're going to play, right? So I think today is a very important game for them. Um, I think pride is at stake as well. Losing to Wolves 4-2, I think. Listen, it's a good Wolves team, right? But I think
Yeah.
Spurs, they have to be doing better, and I think pride is at stake at the end of the day, where they have to go there against a good Nottingham team, and they should be trying to get a result. Nottingham, they would have lost their last game as well to Everton, which to many might have been a surprise, right?
Not
So
really. I think David Moyes has handled the affairs over there pretty well. They look more organized off the ball. Like
yeah,
on the ball, they've still been pretty isolated. Like up front. But I still see David Moyes. He's consolidated the system with Everton, who struggled with form massively in the first half of the season, and when he was instated, I think he did really well. But yeah, I mean, Forest, I still see them. They're away from home, but still on the road. I think they can be as demolishing as they are at home. So I don't know, man. I think it'll be a tough competition for sure. But talking about Tottenham again, we have Van der Ven, who hasn't really ventured a lot from them this season. I think he struggled with form, with injuries, and he didn't play their last Europa League fixture, by the way. It was Ben Davies who starred instead of him. And now today we have Jed Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, Poro at the back, Kulusevski, Bentaker, Sar in the middle, Odobert, Richarlison, and Matthias Tell. Again, Richarlison is a surprise inclusion in this squad.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's so
take a look at the
weird.
squad.
Even Bissouma and Bissouma, Bergwall. Again, Bergwall has been playing in and out for them, so I think he is being rested. And probably might come on from the bench if they don't find any luck with the current 11. Madison's on the bench. Brennan Johnson, again, another surprise element on the bench. He's had a torrid season as well. I think he struggled with form. And Dominic Solanke, of course, we know he was injured for quite a bit. And Heung-min Son, he was doubtful, so I don't think he's really, even gonna come in the second half. But
Well,
for
he's not on the bench.
no, he is on the bench. No, he's not.
No, he's not on the bench.
Right.
But in
Spurs
terms
have
of
a very
Solanke, I
good.
think Solanke is more like a rest. You know, um, it would have been a difficult game against Eintracht Frankfurt, and as I mentioned before, he has had his injury issues since season. Recently coming back from an injury,
Yeah,
and yes, I think it's more like a rotation with Solanke, right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. Nottingham. I get it. I mean, you have you don't have many players, but then they're playing a Harry to follow at the back, as a left back, and I don't really rate him that much. I don't think he's convinced me a lot this season. Murilo Milinkovic again, at the heart of defense, and Nico Williams again, the Liverpool starlet, right, who played for us for quite a bit, and then yeah, he came to Nottingham. Went to a couple of clubs before Nottingham, if I'm not wrong. Elliot Anderson played really well for Newcastle, and the departure was really surprising for me. But he's been really good for Nottingham as well. But the last couple of games, he's been missing in that midfield. I don't think he was able to provide the right cover. Even players like Doucouré took advantage of him, in that Everton fixture. And Dominguez, I think I have a special liking for this player. I think he's really solid and he can play multiple positions in the midfield as a left midfielder. And Morgan Gibbs White, Elanga, bro. Elanga is one guy who I've been really happy with, especially in Nottingham. I think he's just hit the ground running as soon as he joined the club, and leaving United was probably their best decision for him. And I think he's going to play a crucial role in, helping them probably get into the top four. Chris Foot, again, I don't think he's found many goal scoring opportunities in the last couple of games. However, he did score against Fiji, starting for New Zealand in the international friendly, right? But for the club, he hasn't scored a lot in the last 10 fixtures, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so the game is about to start in about 4 minutes. And yeah, the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium looks really, really good, to be honest, from the aerial view. And you have a couple of supporters from the away stand chanting out loud. Yeah, the atmosphere is quite electric, to be honest, which isn't really what you see when Tottenham is usually playing.
KV Reacts is saying, I have only one question. What do you think of Tottenham? Well, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would say shit. But as a United fan, I guess I could say shit as well. But I
Yeah.
hear people talking about sacking Postecoglou, which I think is a bit premature. The last couple of managers that Spurs would have had, they've sacked them in the second season, in the last three, I believe. And
Correct.
I think Spurs, I think they've had their fair share of injuries this season, especially to very, very important players, right? And
Hmm.
I think if Postecoglou makes it to a final, I think that's some sign. Well, to be honest, the Europa League competition this season, it has been a bit poor to some extent. It's not like we're seeing the bigger teams in the Champions League dropping down from not finishing in the top two of what would have been normal Champions League groups of four. So the competition has been a bit of an easy ride for United and Spurs. However,
Correct.
making it to a final is some accomplishment in and of itself, and I think they have to give him a third season with backing in this summer transfer window. To sack him again or to sack another manager in their second season and to bring in a new manager, it's like it's not sustainable. You're not going to really accomplish anything from that.
True, but then the weird part is, they've lost 14 fixtures, man, equivalent to what United have gone through, right? It's not been easy on Daniel Levy either, and we know how he operates as a business owner, right? But I still see him going out. You know what happened to Mourinho, right? He wasn't even allowed to play a finale. Imagine. He could have actually won Tottenham a trophy, and he was
Mhm.
ousted at that point in time when they needed him the most. And the team was utterly disappointed with what happened.
Yeah.
This is not a hate along. I think you might get some hate for that. Yeah, man, but then it's just weird. But that's a good call. I think it might be an in and out situation for Postecoglou. You never know what might happen. But I still see the way Levy is, he's quite ruthless with his decision making, specifically with managers who don't agree with him. And I think Postecoglou has been quite upfront about what he feels about the board and the decision making that has happened in the backdrop. I think he's been quite brutal in press conferences too. So yeah, man, I don't, I
It, you
don't,
know,
I
it,
don't see
it's
him
really
staying
amazing.
anymore.
I think Daniel Levy has a lot of I think he has a lot of blame to take to some extent.
Yeah,
You see the likes of Newcastle, they've won their first trophy in what, like 50 something years. The Carabao Cup, and Daniel Levy has been the CEO of Spurs for quite some time now, over like a decade plus, and they've not really won
yep,
anything of any sort. And you look at Newcastle, and it's not like Newcastle, it's not like they've spent the most money. They've not spent the most money, despite having those rich owners. You talk about these FFP and PSR thing. Recently they had to sell Miguel Almiron to fall in line with PSR, I believe it was, right.
yep,
Um, so it's not like the owners are taking their money and putting it into the club, and they're not a club that generates a lot of money in terms of commercial revenue or match day tickets type of thing, right? In comparison to Spurs, Spurs, they rent
true.
their stadium, they have good commercial value, but yet still they're yet to win a trophy. And you see teams like Newcastle coming up. They went to a final, they won the Carabao Cup. Villa, they're in the semi-final of the Emirates FA Cup. So you have all these teams who they're kind of doing better than Spurs with, in a sense, spending less. If you look at the last summer transfer window for Aston Villa, they kind of left themselves short until the recent winter transfer window where they got Marcus Rashford and Asensio, which kind of helped them. Newcastle, really and truly, they didn't do much in the the last winter transfer window. However, they've been good. They've improved on what they have at their disposal. But 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 with Spurs, it's a different case every season. It's like
You'll
they've
be
been taking
shocked to know this, okay? You'll be shocked to know this. I was studying the model. So Spurs is the only club in the Big Six, amongst the Big Six, that spends just 35 to 38% on player wages. That's nothing for a Big Six club. In fact, Aston Villa expends 60% of their costing on player wages, which is massive. And that's how you keep your players happy. And now you know why players depart so quickly from Tottenham, right? People don't see a bright future with the club. We know that Daniel Levy, as an owner, is just a miser, in a few words.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's Daniel Levy. I mean, that's Daniel Levy in a nutshell, right? Um, Kind of tight with his pockets when it comes down to spending.
Yeah, kick off. The game has started. Yeah, and I'm just surprised that they haven't really included Callum Hudson-Odoi in this fixture. Like, I think this would have been the best time for him to play against Tottenham.
What's not doing?
Yep. Yeah, Tottenham with the turnover. Yeah, man. Address this comment. Are United supporters going to back Amorim for a long project if he wins Europa?
Well, I can't speak for everyone. I can't speak for all United fans. I don't really care about winning the Europa League, if I'm being honest. But the manager
Yeah.
does have my back in this transfer window that's coming up in the summer. So
Yeah. I think that's what will determine what happens with his future at United. Um, oh God, man, Matthias Tell, bro. Oh, he won the ball. Oh no. What timestamp are you on?
I'm gonna be way behind, to be honest.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to
that's.
find a stream that's like,
Why don't you use Peacock?
no, it's not showing on Peacock, I think.
Will United be able to attract good players? I still feel they have a good pull, despite being the shit that they are. They still are able to get some good quality players on board. And Jadon Sancho weirdly, good shout. Jadon Sancho weirdly is inclined to stay at Chelsea. I don't even think Chelsea is gonna keep him for long. But you have Pedro Neto and Madueke doing much better than what he does. But yeah, I think he's had his moments in a couple of good Premier League fixtures, but nothing massive. Per 90 impact is just abysmal. Like in moments, he does shine out loud, like he'll dribble past a couple of defenders and with a few progressive passes, but I don't see him really penetrating that defense.
What timestamp are you on?
I'm on 229 to 30.
Okay.
Yeah, this is quite cool. Like OBS has released this new software for football streamers. So let's just put this on top. Yeah, it's quite expensive though. I mean, the premium package costs like $40 a month. The one that I'm using is the basic version, like for $5 a match. Um, and I think the premium version has more features like statistics and tactics and everything. Are you on the game? What timestamp are you on?
Now I'm still trying to find a stream.
Come on, bro. Ah, Nottingham win the ball turnover by Doming Wes. Yeah, man, it's quite end to end so far. Crack, bro. Crack यहाँ पे है नहीं. Crack. You can't crack anything in Canada or North America for that matter. Like, you need to be in India to be cracking software. Then, oh, what a shot by Morgan Gibbs White, bro. Curled the ball. Yeah. See, Nottingham literally that one pass takes the entire team away. Spurs have been like all over the place, man. Just 4 minutes into the game and oh, goal! Elliot Anderson, man, scores a goal for Nottingham. 1-0 to Forest.
Forest scored.
Wow. Yeah, they scored, man. And I could see it coming, bro. Like, yeah, easily. Bentaker at fault. I think it ricocheted off someone's foot. So when are you doing a giveaway for Liverpool winning the league? When I make a good community on YouTube is the time I'll do a giveaway for Liverpool winning the league, hopefully. Fuck it, it hit his ham. Yeah, bro. Bentaker hit the back of his leg, bro. Good goal. Imagine Nuno managed Tottenham. I couldn't really get the same performance that he is now. Even in Saudi, I think he was okay, but then a lot of disagreement with the owners.
Wasn't he coaching Ronaldo?
Yeah, he was. He was.
So I was going to be a disagreement with Ronaldo, to be honest.
I think you can afford one KV with the community that you've built and with the monetization that you've done. I think you can easily get one. Amorim will be watching the game in pure hate watch vibes. I don't think Amorim has anything to lose anymore. I mean, he's had a torrid season, and it's unfortunate that he joined in the second half of the season because, I think they should have signed him in the summer, to be honest. Give a manager a fresh start, like let him prove a point. People,
But I
some,
think even no, I think it's not a bad time for him, or it wasn't a bad time for him. Well, I wouldn't have known the expectation of the board, right? But I think with him knowing the squad now, it would aid him better for next season to like absolutely know the type of system he wants because you know then you don't have that excuse that you didn't really have a long preseason or you didn't get the players that you wanted early in the preseason. You know what I'm saying? You're
I
still going to
don't
work
see
with.
him being quite flexible with the system, to be honest. Like, he's just going to use a 3-4-3.
Mm.
That's what he usually does, right? Loves playing with wing backs. But I think you need good players for that. Like, specifically the front four, the wing backs, the midfielders, they need to be really good. Like, even a Bruno, man, I still feel like sometimes he lacks a bit defensively, like he's a good creator for sure, but then you need another system for Bruno to shine out loud. Like, literally, like, why would you use a 3-4-3 with Bruno in the middle of things? That's why I think he started deploying him a little up front as a left midfielder, right?
But the thing with
So he
Bruno,
put Garnacho on the
playing
right, or
in that
maybe he'd put him
sense,
on
it's
bench.
like I don't think you need. Oh my gosh, the thing with Bruno, I don't think you need him to be as defensive when you already have the likes of Casemiro and Ugarte behind him, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
you
but
know
they're not good enough.
yeah, they're not good enough. So we have to buy players that are kind of good enough to
True, I'm
match
really
up.
happy for Harry Maguire too. Like KB mentions, all jokes aside, Maguire's redemption is one for the books. Huge respect to him. Yeah, man. Like, and he was always like really talented, right? Like, he hit a major dead end. Like, for 3 years, he wasn't doing anything. In fact, I think social media really got to him.
I don't know if it's a redemption, to be honest.
It is,
Um,
man. He's been good
nah,
since the last
for
season,
me, it's
bro.
like
Yeah.
if you've done more shit than good, then I don't think anything can save you after that, right? That's how I see it. The thing is, Maguire should have been out the club from a long time ago. We tried to get rid of him. He wanted to stay. I think it was just. I
If
think it
you're
was
if
just.
you're comparing if you're comparing him to what he could have been, like when United signed him from Leicester, that's not a fair comparison, I feel. I mean, you should compare him to what, like, to his downfall. Like, he went down to the ground and then he rose up, bro. Like, you wouldn't expect a player to come back to maybe Van Dyke levels or a notch below. Like, he's definitely levels below that. But for
Hmm.
a 30-plus-year-old midfielder, I think he's done quite well. But fair play. I mean, your opinion, and you know the club better.
It's not even about knowing the club better. I don't have time for mediocre players, and I feel like I just don't praise players who are mediocre, and Maguire for me falls into that bracket as well as many other United players. So him scoring a goal against Leon, it's good in and of itself, but it's nothing for me to say that it's a redemption or anything like that. The thing is, these players they've been shit. They've all been contributing factors as to why the club is in what 15th or whatever the case is. So they ain't getting
Yeah.
any praise from me, to be honest.
Just pausing our conversation. Chris Wood scores a goal. 2-0 for Nottingham. They're burying Tottenham, bro.
Wow, that's a wicked goal there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Damn. I mean, I did. I mean, listen. I did say that I felt as if
Okay.
Forest, would have won this game.
Kishon, before you go any further with your narratives and agendas, let me just introduce yourself to the show and share your channel. So, Kishon runs a Jamaican podcast called the 433 Presser. Go subscribe to that. He has a massive following on that, and he just started another Premier League show, Full 90 with Kish. Right, the link is in the description. So yeah, he runs two channels, and he's done a massive job, and he's a friend of the show. Oh, it might be an offside.
Is it?
Bro,
They're
I think
tripping.
Postecoglou might just get sacked after this game. You never know. If Mourinho wasn't given an opportunity to play a finale, I mean, he hasn't
Fabrizio
even
Romano is
reached.
saying that United is leading the race to sign Cunha from Wolves. Personal terms are being discussed as United are aware of more clubs keen but want to be fast. Also, as there's a 62.5 million release clause available in contract.
Right.
I don't know if Cunha is worth that much. Then again, it's a release clause. I think he might be on, right? He was offside.
Yeah, he was off. That's 1-0.
I
Matthias
think
Tell.
Cunha is definitely. I like him. I just don't like his attitude. But players do act up when they want to leave a club. So,
Bro, anyone better than Balotelli and Richarlison, keep them in the club.
but in terms of Cunha to United, I think that would be a good acquisition.
His name is not Kishore, it's Kishon. Kishon. he, he thinks your name is Indian. I love
I mean, it's kind of Indian, right?
somewhat, but we don't have anyone called Kishon in
Oh,
India. I love this famous Jamaican Shane Bolt, Chris Gale. Chris Gale is not Jamaican. Is he
no, he
Jamaican?
is.
No, he's not. He is.
He's
Oh,
Jamaican. Yeah.
Jamaican. No. Yeah, Chris Gale is vibes, bro. He's vibes. You know what? Tottenham are driving, the engine quite well. Like they're overlapping, doing everything, but Nottingham, bro, they know how to defend. They are one team who should actually be studied for the rest of the Premier League to learn
Spurs
how to
they're
defend.
working the ball well in those wide areas to get in behind quickly. That's a
Yeah,
corner to them.
they have six players in the box. Murillo and Milenkovic are well protected. Like it's actually massive how Nuno has transformed this team, man. Like remember the season, like 2 seasons back when they signed 12 players altogether, some of which are still in the club. Um, yeah, man, I think massive credit goes to the manager. Oh, Poro picks the ball in the box. Kulusevski, what timestamp are you on?
1309.
Chris Gale played in my franchisee, so I always love him. Wait, which team did he play for in India?
I'm not sure. I didn't really follow the IPL like that.
Yeah, I used to. I used to follow it like back in the day. Like I stopped doing it after 2014, man.
Yeah, I used to watch cricket. I used to watch more like the CPL, Caribbean Premier League.
Oh,
That was a
did
new
that have
competition a
foreign
couple
players
years ago.
too, or
Huh?
did the Caribbean Premier League have foreign players or just like
Yeah, they
locals?
have foreign players. You had guys from India who used to come over, Australia, New Zealand. They used to come over and play.
Like I remember the Indian teams like back from the 90s were big on county cricket, Yorkshire, uh,
Hmm.
Nottingham, Notts. Like Yuvraj Singh, his father, like all these cricketers have actually played in England too. Sussex was one big team. Prescothick used to play for him, I remember. Richarlison.
In terms of the cricket scene in Jamaica, I'm not sure on a whole what the cricket scene is like, because with cricket in Jamaica, it's like it's more like the West Indies in terms of like our cricket is kind of made up of the different countries in the Caribbean region. So you guys are familiar with the West Indies, but in terms of a country separate, I don't know what the cricket scene is like with Jamaica itself. What I would say, I think we need a bit more development in terms of like infrastructure, those type of things. You know,
Right.
there isn't. You tend to find more football pitches than cricket pitches in the country. I mean, football is the official sport, but cricket should have been right up there, which I think most Jamaicans can play cricket. We just don't
Yeah,
have the infrastructure to like aid in a lot of the youngsters that would want to play type of thing.
yeah, and even the quality of like football and including the infrastructure, I think Jamaica has done quite well, but they can do a lot better than what they have.
Yeah,
Goal!
definitely.
Chris Wood with the header scores his goal finally, man. Like was waiting, I've been waiting for him to score since the last couple of weeks. And I have him on my FPL, so I think I'll get a couple of points. Good goal. That
Mm,
was a really good cross. Like
yeah.
amazing. What timestamp are you on?
Yeah, I just saw the goal. 16:05.
Good, 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 good.
I think it's a well worked set piece to, play it out wide and then, have those players in the box.
Yeah.
It's a pinpoint delivery as well to find the head of Wood. It's kind of a flick. Well,
Reminds me of Anthony Gordon's delivery to Isak.
yeah.
Remember that goal? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a kind of a flick off a head on the head as well.
True. He had to angle it properly.
Yeah.
Ah,
But,
man.
yeah, again, credit to Chris Wood, but the main man again in this scenario was Anthony Elanga.
Yep.
It was a brilliant delivery from Elanga, and he has
True.
been one of their standout players since season. But that header was a good header, especially with the keeper coming towards you to punch it. Um, for a striker to be that brave as well, that's something that you have to commend. So, I mean, I did state earlier that I believe Forest would have won this game, but it's really and truly a
Oh,
disgrace.
bro, did you see that?
Not yet.
Fuck. That was overboard, by the way,
Yeah,
with
just
the shot.
tell down the right hand side.
God.
But I think 17 minutes in and Spurs they're 2-0 down. I think there's
This is what
definitely
happens with
something.
them. This is what Spurs are like. They'll control the ball
Yeah.
in the opposition half, and then they'll all of a sudden lose the ball. They lose possession, and they get hit on a counter, or they lose to a set piece. I mean, this
But if
is
I think where Spurs is at right now, I think it's a true reflection of what this team is in terms of. I think Spurs is really and truly a mid-table team. You know, you think about the Spurs of old under like Pochettino. They actually had players who you could consider world class to some extent, right?
of
The Dele
course.
Ali, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son. Um, you had
Even Dembele was considered world
Dembele.
class
You,
at
you
one
had
point
him
in time.
who
Yes,
he was underrated. You had I mentioned Christian Eriksen before. You had Hugo Lloris, who was a
Eriksen.
world class
Yeah,
goalkeeper in his
he
time.
used to be. Yeah,
You know, the defense it was iffy at times, right? But it was still a solid defense. But in terms of what they had in the midfield and in the attacking third, it was enough. And that was a team that they would have challenged for the Prem at one point in time. They would have been qualifying for Champions League. But if you look at this Spurs squad, Dominic Solanke, you have Son who has been inconsistent. He has not looked the same, right? You know,
true. That was a good shot, by the way. What
you
about?
have Madison who is in and out due to injuries. So it's a really it's a really poor Spurs team, to be honest. I think if you look at the likes of Newcastle and some of these teams, I think these are better constructed teams compared to Spurs with better players to some extent. Newcastle, they have a better striker. I think they have better wide players, better attacking players. They have a better midfield. To some
Correct.
extent, they have a better defense as well. Aston Villa, I do believe that man for man, they do have better players compared to Spurs. Ali Watkins, um, Marcus Asensio, Marcus Rashford, Jacob Ramsey, all these guys, man for man,
Yeah,
these guys are better than what Spurs have at this moment in time.
200%. Yeah, I agree. I think Aston Villa have better technical players too. Tielemans, you're
Yep,
missing out
technical
on a
players as well.
great
Yuri
midfielder. I think
Tielemans as well.
Tielemans
Yeah.
this
And
season has to have. He goes out as a shout, for one of the best technical midfielders. His passes are so scintillating. Like takes out lines like within a few seconds. Just one pass, you see a Morgan Rogers driving the
yeah.
ball ahead. Like I think this is what even Liverpool are missing from their squad. McAllister is a good progressor, but he's not a good. He doesn't have a good range of passing. Without Trent, I don't see anyone doing that. Van Dijk maybe one shout, but then he lobs the ball. That's all. Like we need someone who can give us those grounded passes, which are like really like take the defense out. We don't have that in
Mm.
the team anymore. We used to have, even Thiago used to do that for us. You know. Yeah, but it's quite end to end now. Tottenham are also getting on their nerves. I think now they're trying to like open their scoring gates, knocking on the door. What do you? Okay, just address the comment. Does West Indies allow West visa free travel? I don't know what. Like,
Huh?
there's a comment. Oh, Matthias Tell where the cross, but not good enough. Too deep for Richarlison. Pedro Porro's on the ball. Try to
Yeah,
put it across the box.
I think most countries in the West Indies region, which you would classify it as the CARICOM region, I think I think all the countries in the region, it's visa free. You just need a Jamaican passport. Well, for Jamaicans, you just need a Jamaican passport to go to Trinidad, Barbados, whatever. I think it's vice versa. I think it's the same across the board for all countries in the West Indies.
Hmm.
I don't think we need any. I don't think any country in the West Indies need a require a visa to visit any of the Caribbean countries.
Right. It's like Europe. Similar. You need
Yeah.
a Schengen visa to operate around, go around Europe. I think it's changed for maybe Ireland because they're not in the European Union anymore.
Union. Yeah.
Yeah.
How powerful is the Indian passport?
It's not that powerful, man. I think
Oh,
it's number 58 or something in the world. Yeah, Singaporean. I know Singapore is like on number one or used to be. Even Canada is quite good. Like I think 12 something.
mm.
Yeah, it's 2-0, bro. The second goal was offside, so Wood had to score the third one. So 2-0.
I wonder what the future of Tell is. He looks a decent player, but I know that he didn't want to be at Spurs in the first place.
Right. Kishon is in States, by the way. He stays in the US. Yeah. Van de Ven. Yeah, even KV does a lot of stream for football, like live streaming and all that,
Where,
live
where
watch
does he live?
alongs. His channel name is KB Reacts.
No, what country does he live in?
He's in India.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Jed Spence. Ah, bro. Yeah, he's been trying a lot, man. I mean, I think Spurs are playing good offensively, but defensive, man, they're in tatters. They can't be so. You can't, like, literally, you have a massive hole in that heart of, defense and midfield. Like, you got so many gaps. You can't really afford to do that. I don't know, like, why does Postecoglou not set them up in a way when they're like off the ball, they're like running and retracting and like tracking back to
Yeah,
like
I
help
just subscribe to
the
him.
defense out. It's symbolic, to be honest. Kulusevski where the shot on target, yeah, not good enough. A couple of Spurs players, like a couple of their players, Jed Spence, Odebert, um, Tell he's trying, but then you need to be more convincing near the box. And even Kulusevski, man, like I think he's regressed. To be honest, he's not the player that used to be there anymore. See, Chris Wood, one pass to Elliot Anderson, and that's a foul. I think that's a foul. Yeah, Vanderbilt is good, bro, but after his post his injury, he's been lacking a lot. Like even he's not been as primal as he used to be. To be honest, and he used to surge ahead. I think he stopped doing that. Maybe Postecoglou has asked him not to add numbers ahead. But defensively, I used to consider him to be a good defender, but I don't think he is anymore at this point in time. Like the last couple of games that I've seen him play, maybe he might get his form back next season. But this season, like off post the injury, maybe yeah, it got to him too much.
Is Udogi playing in this game or is injured? He's all right.
No, he's there,
Or is there?
left center half. In fact, Romero, I feel like Romero's like Eric Bailly. Remember Bailey or Bailly?
Yeah, I think Ramir is a bit
Like
too.
he was erratic. He used to be so
Yeah, he's very
brash. Like
erratic.
yeah, Kishon, you're really amazing, man. I kind of like the vibe you guys have. Good vibe, like your countryman Gail who has the vibe. Yeah, Kishon's pretty cool. Mickey Van de
Yeah.
Ven.
Yeah. Has he ever been to Jamaica before?
No, no, no one's been to Jamaica. I'm very sure of that.
Okay.
I can vouch for that.
And
For real.
I think Jamaicans and or Jamaica and India, I think we share similar cultures to some extent in terms of like food.
Mm,
And I mean in Jamaica you have a community of Indians, so
yeah.
there's always that connection between Jamaicans and Indians. I mean the West Indies in general, you think about Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, those two countries in specific. I think they have
Yeah.
a huge Indian community
Yeah.
in
Even
in
Fiji.
comparison to Jamaica.
Surprisingly, I didn't know about Fiji. There are many Fijian Indians. Like even
Mm,
in Canada, I see them. Like even Jamaicans, yeah. In fact, I'll tell you, like Shivrayan Chandrapal,
yeah,
his forefathers, like his roots are in India.
yeah, yeah. That's an Indian name, right?
Yeah, Shivrayan Chandrapal. Chandrapal, the surname is Indian. Even Shiv. Shiv is a god in India. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
What kind of shot? Well, it's a foul.
Sunil Nareen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the West Indies has many Indian names. Like that team has many Indian names. Even Ramnaresh Sarwan used to be a player for them, like a brilliant player. Yeah.
What's your prediction for this game? I mean, it's 2-0 now, but you think it'll be like 3-0 or something like that? You see Spurs scoring?
Ah,
Because if
bro.
Spurs continue like this, then I don't see them scoring.
Maybe a season back I would have said Spurs would equalize, but I don't see Richarlison doing anything, man.
Yeah.
After that, pigeon-like conversion in the World Cup, that brilliant goal that he scored, he's been a-ball, literally missing out of everything. Like, I wouldn't be
I think the
surprised.
money that
I
they
think
paid
he's
for him as
leaving,
well was a bit too much.
and he's leaving. I think, right?
Richarlison?
Yeah, I think he's on the verge of leaving. Yeah, this is what I
Mm.
read about him, and he will be. He will leave. He's not playing anything. Oh, Mickey Van de Ven with a good defensive action went head to head with Elonga, bro. Like Van de Ven is good, but then like
You know
dude,
what I've seen with this Forest team is that, well, it's more so with the Spurs defense. It's one ball over the top from Forest, and they've already breached the defense of Spurs.
exactly. You summed it up correctly. Like literally, like they're hurting them a lot. They've
Yeah.
inflicted a lot within just a few passes, and Spurs are like knocking the ball around. Right. See, this is a model, right? It's all the manager's dictation. What he's done on the pitch, not really good. I don't know. Like even Postecoglou has. I don't know. I think he needs to go, man. What I feel because defensively they haven't grown at all. Or maybe they should get a set piece coach. Maybe to just get a few goals in. But yeah, I think I would still choose Romero. Um,
There's a good bit of play just now. Was that Tell?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Tell, no, that's Odobert. Tell is on the left.
Oh, Odobert.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Odobert.
Odobert.
Wilson,
What country is he
Wilson,
from?
Odobert. No idea, man. No idea.
I think that sounds even like Welsh or some shit.
I think 5-0 Forest.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good. That's a good bit of play by him to get in the 18.
Oh, bro, Spurs have had chances, half chances. Another creation by Odobert. Like so many opportunities, bro. Like they don't. What is Richarlison doing, bro? Just push ahead. See, he didn't make
Yeah,
that
that's
run.
that's a position where the striker should have been on
Yeah,
the on right in front of the goalkeeper, getting on to the end of that.
even Hoyland would have made a run for that.
Once Odobert goes more to the byline, then you have to
Yeah,
expect that it's coming directly across that in front of the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
There's no other way he's gonna angle that to put it across. It's not gonna get behind you unless he cuts it back and then plays it behind you. But the more he goes to the byline, then you have to anticipate that it's coming directly across the face of goal. So you have to time your run to get onto the end of it to put it into the net.
This is exactly, and another thing, like Bentacore just won the first ball, and then you see an Elliot Anderson controlling the second. Like you need the midfield is also missing. One of the reasons why Spurs are so bad, even defensively, they're not able to control the game. When they need to. Okay, good build up. Yeah, see, they lost the ball again, and even this rotation doesn't lead to much. Kulusevski stepped up, but he doesn't have that pace to beat Murillo or Milenkovic. Man, they're on a high line. And I think Spurs, they went wrong with the acquisitions too. Like at one point in time, they had a good team, but now, I mean, after Harry Kane left them, bro, they've just been all over the place.
I mean,
Like you
you're,
look at
you're
Brennan
really poor
Johnson.
defensively
He was
when
a
it's just.
fucking their best talent is on the fucking bench. Madison, Bergwell. Again, I know they just played a game 4 days ago, but still, bro, this is an important game for you.
even
You were
even
saying
even Johnson, I think, was a poor signing as well, to be honest.
he was quite good.
Yeah, but I think these players are good enough for like Forest and some of these teams, right? But
Yeah,
when you think about Spurs, you're trying to take the next step forward. After you lose a player like a Hurricane, you should be looking to get in a top caliber player. People can have the argument that Spurs, they're not a big club, they can't attract big players, but you don't necessarily have to attract the biggest names in football, right? But surely you would have
I
had better players out there compared to Johnson and Richarlison and some of these guys over the years.
yeah, I hear you, and I do agree with you, but I also feel like Big Six having a Big Six tag is one thing because teams give you a lot more respect. Like you get to face oppositions on a lower block, right? You get to have more possession. But for Spurs, they haven't found that form, and teams are not afraid of going toe to toe with them, right?
Yeah.
In that situation, in a high pressure situation when you have to do take ons, I think Brennan Johnson is a good shout for me. And I know he's not been performing that well, but he's been okay, bro. He's not been bad.
Yeah, but I think they paid a huge price tag for him as well. Richarlison, Dominic Solanke. I think Solanke has been decent, has had injuries this season. But Spurs, they've wasted they've wasted a fair amount of money over the years. Ndombele, which I don't think at the time it was a bad signing, right? But Ndombele,
And Mele, I liked him. I liked him a lot. And then he went to
Richarlison,
Liga.
they spent a huge chunk on some players, and
Yeah.
and I think where Premier League teams tend to go wrong at times is that they're not. I think maybe Spurs, they've found themselves in this position where they don't buy players from other Premier League teams.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
biggest
Spending.
risk is going outside of the league, getting players. And I mean, to be fair, they did sign Solanke and Richarlison, but I think it was a little bit too late. I think there are many other players out there that they could have gotten that could have helped this team. Players from within the Prem. Not just last summer transfer window, but the last couple transfer windows. And Spurs, they have spent money. They have spent money. You
Yeah.
know, it's just that they haven't spent it correctly. Archie Gray buying him for 40 something million. I mean, I think that's a bit too much as well.
It
You know,
is. It
you
is.
need to
Good shout.
maintain yourself in a top six spot. You need to be qualifying for Champions League so you can get that money. So you have to buy a players
True.
that can aid in you doing so now, and then you can have your young players in and around that they're coming up and learning. But
Yeah.
in terms of how this squad was constructed, if it takes just one and two injuries for you to fall off a cliff, then you need to revisit.
Correct. Yeah, but then I don't know. I mean, I'm just impressed with even Nottingham, to be honest. I mean, when you compare their players with Spurs, Nico Williams and a couple of their midfielders, right? I think they've improved with time, like close space manipulation and ball control. It's just too good. Look at them. Like they're making the most of what they have, right? And Jed Spence, you'll see a Jed Spence and Odebert, and these are like misfits in this squad who deserve a lot better than what they're currently getting. You know, even Kulusevski, man, like I don't know. And when you talk about like expenditure, like spending 50 million on an Ndombele
I think
or
wasn't it more than that?
what?
Wasn't it more than 50 or was 50?
I think he was 50. He
Okay.
say managing Tottenham is toughest job and something he compared it to as tough as a British Prime Minister job. United winning the Europa.
I think with
Betis.
Spurs, I don't want to blame the fans because they're not coaching the team at the end of the day. But
Hmm,
I think fans, for a lot of the times, for these clubs, they have to take responsibility in terms of the expectation that they have on their clubs. You know, I think sometimes you have to give a manager breathing room to like build. You have to accept that you're gonna lose games. I think for some teams, if they accept that reality a bit quicker, then the team can have like breathing room to make mistakes and develop, right?
right.
Um, but with Spurs, it's like the fans, at one point in time, I think the pressure was fear in terms of you had a squad that should have been winning trophies, not just competing, but winning trophies.
Yeah.
But it's just the mentality of Spurs. I remember one time when they were in the FA Cup. I think it was like quarterfinal or semi final, and think that guy Pochettino came out and said that even if they win the FA Cup, it doesn't change people perception on them. They have to win the big trophies. Which yes, it's true. You have to win the big trophies, but you shouldn't be caring about people's perception of the club. You know, you have to win the FA Cup. You have to win trophies, no matter how small it might seem. You have to instill some form of a winning mentality within the players. Um, and they haven't done so.
Yeah. What do you feel about Salah getting the Ballon d'Or? I know he hasn't had a good second
Uh,
half. What do you feel? I don't think he'll get
I
it.
mean, who won the last Ballon d'Or? Rodri.
Rodri won it, yeah. Vinicius was in contention to win it, but
Honestly, I even know. I think Salah might be the front runner to some extent.
hmm, I don't know. I think Rafinha might get it. If they win the UCL and the La Liga, bro, Rafinha's getting it.
Well, yeah, but the thing
Oh, what?
is,
Oh God, there was an open gap between Murillo and their left back Tofilo. Bro, I mean, Kulusevski is standing in the right position. This is what they're Spurs, bro. They're not. They lack sharpness. I don't know what is up with them.
I think that was a poor delivery. You received that, and you have to play that on the
But
ground.
then spatial awareness
If you,
is one
if you
thing. You
play that
should
on the
know that the
ground, then
player is
it's
over there. Just, you need to pass it to him. That's it.
yeah. And if you play that on the ground, it's more of an accurate pass in terms of that will definitely find him once you don't
Yeah,
overhit it. But one time to play it in behind like that with the pace it was coming at, you know, i- it's gonna go up in the air, and it gives the defenders time to react as well.
yeah. Just a moment. Arsenal really deserves to win the CL this time. I think they do, actually. I think they do deserve to win the CL. As much as I don't want them to win, but I think they deserve to win because I think Arsenal have played for the badge. I think their players have actually played for the badge. Even the manager, like, they're in tandem. But the only thing is that they don't win. Ah! Oh, God. Open opportunity. Missed again. Matthias Tell. Yeah, I think now he's becoming a part of Tottenham. I think he's getting the vibes in the club. But yeah, um, yeah, Addy's just too humble. Addy will never. Advait says no chance.
He has to put that on target, man. Has to put that on target.
Salah, high time he should start scoring goals. Dude, like I've had a conversation about Salah on my video. I keep echoing the same message, and people have been called out a lot for calling him a flop at times. But the thing is, he is regressing his with age. He was amazing with the goal scoring opportunities, but if you watch him per 90, um, his game is quite passive. It is not like he's done something great, to be honest. And it's been a recurring theme. It has happened a lot in the last many seasons too. But this season specifically, the regression curve that he's hit in the second half, it is evident, right? And age is not just a number when it comes to football. I think 33, 32 or 33. And I think, yeah, he's lost his pace, obviously. And I think for what he has, he's done brilliant. Oh, God, they missed another opportunity. Bro, what are they doing, man? What are they doing? But I'm pretty, and I honestly feel next season is actually going to be a test for Onslaught. If he uses Salah and Van Dijk on a recurring basis and they're not able to replicate the performances that is expected from them, I think, yeah, FSG is one board. If they think they're going to be starters, they will not bring any quality signing in. That's what I'm afraid of. So I don't know. I think the manager is obviously going to make a decision on that, but I just want to make I just want to make any predictions when it comes. Don't want to make. Ariman, what's up, bro? When you beat Madrid in CL 2020, Chelsea 22, Man City 25. Christian Romero gets a yellow card. Inter versus Arsenal, US UCL. Oh, that'll be epic. That'll be epic. It'll be a classic fixture, to be honest. But Inter, man, Inter are too frustrating to watch. Like they're like they just ruin your mood. And I don't like watching teams like Inter play. But yeah, fair play to them. I think Lautaro Martinez has been amazing. Even against Bayern, he was the most foul player on the pitch. Reminds me of when Spurs signed Soldado and Vincent Janssen to replace Bale and Adebayo.
I
Well, if
think I
you,
think
yeah,
I think all teams are equal to win the Champions League this season, but I think it's just different with Arsenal, where I kind of feel as if they deserve it as well. But I don't want them to win it because I don't like them. But to face the
see, Kashawn shares the same vibe as I. He's a Man United fan. He doesn't want Arsenal to win this
yeah,
UCL.
but for them to face Real Madrid in the manner that they did, not being favorites going into the first leg, Gabriel Magalhaes was out. Saka just coming back from injury. A whole load of things was against Arsenal going into that first leg, right? And
Hmm.
for them to win in the manner that they did, which the first game was impressive, but I think the second game was even more impressive away from home. Not being bullied by Madrid, standing up, playing professional across 90 minutes. Miles Lewis Kelly having a good game as well, not backing down. Vinicius and Mbappe not doing anything in that game other than getting that goal that was gifted to them, Vinicius.
True. By
But
Saliba.
yeah, but like, if they do face PSG and they beat PSG over two legs, which is going to be a very difficult game against PSG, then if they make it to the final, I mean, I think it's there for them to take it home.
But what if it's
Um,
Barcelona at the other end?
but I think with Barcelona, I think Arsenal would favor to play Barcelona more in the final compared to Inter Milan, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I
It'll
think
be
I
more
think
of a
if you play
total
against
competition. With Inter, it'll be like
yeah,
Inter will be reactionary.
yeah,
Inter
I
is going
think
to
they're
be
gonna
really
close out each
pragmatic.
other. I think they're gonna
Yeah,
close out each other, which when you have those closeout games where each opponent is nullifying each other with doing the same thing to an extent, it becomes very frustrating. There are not going to be much chances to for you to have goal scoring opportunities. You have to make use of the little to no chance that you're going to have basically. But with Barcelona, I think Barcelona has more to come at you, especially seeing with how this Arsenal team is set up. I think they would be willing to give Barcelona a bit more possession of the ball, and then they'll react after that in terms of when they get possession of the football. And
right.
Barcelona as well. They're a poor defensive team. We've seen that.
True, true. Kulusevski can develop. He has a lot of potential. Yeah, Barcelona, I agree with that. I think they've been a bit on the edge when it comes to their defense. I think Orua, I think they also had a couple of injuries too, if I'm not wrong, right? And Pau Kobarsi, I think too young to be depended on, but he's done a phenomenal job for them. I can't lie.
And if Chesney is going to be in the goal for the final, then I think Arsenal would love that. Not saying that he would give away any goal or anything like that, right? But yeah, listen.
Rafinha. I agree with Adi. I think Rafinha is gonna get the Ballon d'Or. Ola Aina linked to Liverpool. Oh God, wow, that's gonna be good. I really like Aina, to be honest. I think he's solid.
But in terms
But
of
I
the
think
fullback
he's
replacement, you're thinking Conor Bradley?
Conor Bradley's no. Honestly, I think we need someone See, I agree with this. We will not find another Trent hybrid for sure. Someone with that range of passing, but someone who is the best in their own abilities. We will not get a replication of what we had with Trent for sure. But I think Onslaught will be able to develop someone who is really good.
Mm.
When it comes to close space manipulation, defending. I think defensive regimen will improve for sure. I think Onslaught is going to look for a defender for a fullback who can defend well and who can surge ahead. I think Ola Aina is a very good shout, to be honest. Advait said no chance for Salah win. Yeah, I don't think he has a chance, bro. I No matter what the season, he had a brilliant season. I think he'll be second. Um, yeah, it'll be Salah second, and first I think it'll be Rafinha for sure.
But
PSG
let's
are
say that
worrying me.
Barcelona doesn't win the Champions League or the La Liga title, then who does it go to?
What do you mean? If they if they enter the finale?
If they end up not winning a trophy, then who does the
Oh, the
Ballon d'Or
Ballon
go
d'Or.
to? Yeah.
I think Salah then.
Mm.
Yeah, I think because he's won the Premier League, he scored the most goals in the Premier League season like ever,
I think he
literally
also has the
beating
most.
Henry's
He also
record.
has the most goal contributions in a Premier League season.
Yeah, he does. That's the thing, right? PSG are worrying me, being too humble. Their
You think
wingers and the
Pedro
Miller
Porro
men
linked with
must be
Man City?
incredible. Exactly. I love this comment.
What was Pedro Porro linked with City recently?
What?
Pedro Porro, wasn't he linked with Man City, or
He
was it a
was.
different club?
He was. He was.
Yeah.
In fact, when Pedro Porro was about to come to Spurs, just before that, there were rumors that Pep is also interested in getting him.
Mm.
Yeah, and Pedro Porro, I think he's a good fullback, but again, man, I think as a team they lack chemistry, bro. Like if they are getting hit on a transition, you don't want Spurs to be there, you know. Salah, Mane, Bobby, yeah, man. Like, but I still feel like Kavisha, Dembele, Barcola, Due, man, they are another breed, bro, another pedigree. Like they're insane, man. Like the level of chemistry they share, and specifically Dembele's mobility, like a free player throughout any fixture, right? He'll go from a false nine to the midfield, just roam around a bit and, just try to gauge the opposition's situation. And then he just makes a run for it. Like, he's a true artist. Even Kavisha, man, he's so confident when he's taking on players. He's not the quickest, but his technical ability is world class, man. It'll surpass anyone. In fact, I think he'll be a good Premier League shout too. Maybe one day if he feels like signing for a Prem club, I think he'll be really good. What do you think about Kavisha and PSG?
Who?
Kavisha,
I haven't watched him.
bro, you've seen PSG.
Which player are you talking about?
Uh, Kavars Kelia. Kavars
Oh, oh,
Kelia.
oh, oh. I don't know. I don't go by his first name. Yeah, Kvaratskhelia. I watched him against I think it was Aston Villa in that first leg, which was wonderful. In that first leg when they played in Paris, Kvaratskhelia in that game was exceptional. Um, but in terms of Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, but Dembele to be more specific, I think Dembele has been the guy for PSG this season. I think he's the more of the danger man. I just feel like it's difficult to stop a player like Dembele at full speed. Um, he's good in terms of dribbling. He's good in
Mm,
terms of his decision making. He gets away quickly from his defenders. Even in that second game against Villa, I was surprised that he did get the man of the match award. Felt as if it should have been someone else. Should have been a Villa player, if I'm being honest. But he did have a good game against the Villa at Villa Park, and he was really difficult to contain. So I don't know if Arsenal will be containing Kvaratskhelia and Dembele at the same time. It's going to be difficult for them, especially like Miles Lewis Skelly, which I want somebody to humble Lewis Skelly. I'm being honest. I would like
hey,
somebody to humble him. I don't like the kid. I mean, I
I
like him
think
in
I
terms of
think
like
I
he's
think
making a
we are
name for
twin.
himself, but
We are twin brothers from different mothers, literally. Like I see, I don't know. I've just developed this hate for Arsenal out of nowhere. Um, Lewis
bro,
Kelly
since
is
recently I
okay.
have
We'll have
more
this
for
debate
hate.
right now, and I'll tell you one thing. I think Miles Lewis Kelly is a world class talent. I think he is a generational player. You hear it from me, bro. You can't deny that. No matter how much we hate Arsenal, he is a generational talent.
Do you think Miles Lewis is a generational talent?
Yes, I think so. I think he is the composure, the maturity he's showing at 18, 17. Man, it's levels. He's a world beater, bro. Like, do you see him with the ball? He is so composed.
It's clear that
He
you're
can dribble
trolling right
really
now.
well for left back.
You're trolling right now.
Ah, I'm not, bro. He has all the qualities, all the tools that you need in a left back. In fact, he was a midfielder who's playing as a left back, bro. He learned his craft as a midfielder.
Nah.
This guy is gonna be up there, bro. I'm telling you this right now. Even for England.
2-0 halftime. Spurs, they've had what? The one opportunity or two. The one with Richarlison came across the face of goal. I mean, that's about it, if we're being honest. There was the tell
Yeah.
one in the last couple minutes. Should have been on target. I wouldn't say that was a clear cut chance, but that should have been on target. Should be forcing the goalkeeper to at
Vasquez
least make a
tell
save.
Richarlison, all of them had good opportunities.
Yeah.
I get the best transfer news from the internet. Funny how Mbappe came to Madrid to watch PSG in finals. Yeah, man, like that's insane. And to be honest, I think he does imbalance them a bit. And it wasn't really Mbappe in totality in the first leg. I think we need to blame Modric for them not providing enough space coverage in that midfield, right? I think in order to cover the yards, you need someone like Valverde playing there, and then I could see why Vasquez wasn't trusted as a right back in that position because second leg we got to see how poor Vasquez was technically as well, mispassing a lot, symbolic crossing, like it was a lot of all that poor shit. Yeah, but then the blame doesn't really go to Mbappe entirely. Again, like even the way they take defenders on, there's a certain superiority complex when you see players like Winnie or Mbappe, taking players on, and they lose those duels, and they end up shrugging off and they hit the ground and all that crap. I don't like watching that. But Rodrigo, man, to be honest, I think Rodrigo in the second leg tried. Like first leg he was nowhere to be seen, but second leg he was trying a lot. Liverpool are reportedly considering a massive 80 million offer to sign Marseille striker. Bro, we are not signing Mason Greenwood. Hey, Kishon,
Yeah.
look at this. Liverpool are reportedly considering a massive 80 million offer to sign Marseille striker Mason Greenwood. He scored 18 goals this season.
You don't think Liverpool would sign Greenwood?
Never. I don't think they'll like that affiliation with someone who's been involved in an incident of sorts.
Mm.
Yeah, bro, we are not going for that. These are just rumors. I don't like. Could you like tag the source? Like who? Yeah, bro. But this game's been pretty interesting. I'm loving it. It's quite end to end, and even though Tottenham had more opportunities and chances, but Nottingham made the most out of it. How was that game, by the way, Burnley and Sheffield?
Yeah, as I said, I think Burnley, they were more impressive. Should have been more than two. They should have scored more than two. I was really impressed by Hannibal Mejbri, the former United player. I think he had a good game. But Sheffield didn't really offer much in that second half. I think the penalty that Burnley got though for the second goal, I think was a bit soft. It was a
Yeah.
fucking foul on Mejbri in the 18, but felt he could have stayed on his feet. The thing with these players nowadays is as they feel contact in the 18, they're going down. And that's what happened. But I wasn't really impressed by Sheffield. They blew their chances in terms of getting automatically promoted to the Prem. I think I think they lost their last three games, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
So I mean, at the business end of this season, losing three games when you could have gained automatic promotion, it's poor, man, poor. No, they have to do the playoff, which that's a free
Who?
for all.
He says Fisher. Like, who the hell is that?
Hmm.
Fisher. Bro, I don't even know who they are. Like, Don't trust this source. I'm telling you, like this is all fake news. Yeah, but I like this comment a lot, man. Yeah, even this shout is really good. I think Lautaro Martinez. I don't really follow Syria, but let me check his numbers. Yeah, 15. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna win it, bro. Numbers aren't that terrific. Maybe in the UCL. Let me check his numbers in the UCL. What do you think, Lautaro Martinez for Ballon d'Or?
The year when Rodri had won it, you had people shouting for him because he had won the Copa America, Scudetto. I think there was an Italian Cup he would have won as well. Scored a whole bunch of goals. Went to the UCL final, lost it. Um, and this season he's having one of those like wonderful seasons again. So I think it would be a good shout. If they do win the UCL, I think Martinez has to be up there, and especially if they win the Italian league as well. I think it definitely has to be in that conversation. But for some reason, when you play for some of these Italian clubs, it's like there's not that mainstream attention on Inter Milan and these clubs in Italy, or even on the Italian league as well. So you don't hear these names of these players circulating compared to when you play in the Premiership or in La Liga.
Right.
You know, you don't have any star-studded Italian players like who are on the front pages. You just don't find it. You know.
Even I wasn't the biggest fan of Lautaro Martinez. In fact, like the moments I've seen him play for Argentina or even for Inter Milan, I wasn't convinced. But as of late, I think he's been really good this season, right? And he scored 8 goals, I think, in the Champions League out of 11 games with 22 attempts, right? So I think he's done a lot. Yeah, I think even Arnautovic has scored a couple of goals, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, he's played 14 games. He scored 4 goals and 2 assists. Like, I think he's 33, 36 years old. Yeah. I know, bro. I never trust transfer news unless it's from Fabrizio Lynch. Yeah, bro. I don't think Kulusevski can develop. I think what I saw from him, like, he started as a right midfielder for Tottenham, right? I think this is, like, I don't know if he'll develop in a better team, but now he's playing as what? In the center midfield, right? As a right center midfielder. Like shifts into a left midfielder, right midfielder's position, and drifts into the central spaces. Like he's good with the shot taking ability and all that, and I think he has scope for improvement for sure. But in this Tottenham outfit, I don't see him improving unless you get a really good manager. Like I don't know. I think Postecoglou actually, I was backing him up, but now looking at what he's doing currently, I mean, you have all your players available now. They're struggling still. So the level of growth that we were expecting from them is nowhere to be seen. And Kulusevski, I was more impressed with him when Harry Kane was there. Like at least he was, you know, putting in good performances and banging goals out of nowhere, from the edge of the box. Like he's really good with that. Like can goal the ball really well. Um, yeah. So and I really feel bad for him to be honest because I don't think he's grown a lot. Luis Diaz, I know, bro. I Leipzig won 70 million for Xavi Simon. I think he's a baller. But again, I think he has consistency issues, right, with big clubs. Luis Diaz wants to sign a contract at Liverpool, but he hasn't ruled out a possibility of move to Saudi Pro League. Honestly, like I want Diaz to stay, bro. I don't think we have. He's convinced us in the last couple of games. He's convinced me, like for sure. I think he has a rough patch. He has had a rough patch in the past too. But I think we have to keep him. Liverpool don't have many options of signing good players. We are not a Real Madrid or a PSG or a City or a Newcastle. We cannot afford heavy spending with this Premier League trophy, maybe, but then I don't think the owners are gonna agree to that, right? For a couple of players, yes, maybe, but not for the position that we are talking about. Luis Diaz, left wing, I don't even think that's gonna be on the priority list for them. To be honest, Liverpool need a right back, striker, and a
I like
midfielder.
Dumfries. I like Dumfries.
Yeah, yeah, we need a right back, Addy, striker. Like I would still keep Darwin Nunes. I don't know.
Do you think it's a realistic chance of them getting Isak from Newcastle? Because I was well, I didn't
I
watch the full
hope
video, but
150 million, bro. We FSG
no,
in there.
no, but FFP is at play with Newcastle, right? Even though they could sell another player, but I don't think Isak is going for 150. I think he'll be 100 and
I
something, but not
at best,
150.
I think Isak is a 100 million player. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
100 million, not 150. That's too
But
much.
the question is, would it be worth it to break the bank for him in terms of
Yeah.
if he does arrive at Liverpool and you guys are winning trophies like Champions League, Premier League, then he kind of repays that quickly, you know?
If we can
Um,
break the bank for Darwin Nunes with the 75 million plus bonuses, I would be happy to spend 100 million on Isak.
because I think the talent that Isak is and what Liverpool is doing now, I think I think to some extent it's safe to say that he would be a success. You know, he would
Mhm.
score goals. You know, he's up there with Erling Haaland, which I think I'm not sure if I can separate the two players in terms of I can in the sense that I think Isak is a better football player than Erling Haaland. I think he has
100%.
more to his game. Um,
I'll
and
tell you one thing.
I'm not
Okay,
so sure
let
that
me before you complete your answer, I just want to add this. Holland has good tools to actually drive into the box, but at City they're playing a fixated system.
yeah.
He's being asked to poach. He's not being asked to make runs, um, into the box, and like it's just he gets a little static when he's static. When he's not mobile, I don't think you get to see the best out of Holland.
Mhm.
Right now, if you're transitioning on a counter, which I haven't seen a lot from City this season, you see a Holland surging ahead, it'll be ferocious. Holland, in fact, did that to, I think it was Gabriel Magalhaes, if I'm not wrong, against Arsenal. I think the goal that he scored was phenomenal. Holland has good qualities, but Pep just needs to like learn to like let them be, like Real Madrid maybe at times. You let your front line just operate the way they want to, right? With a little bit of control and discipline, I think Holland is doing good for sure, but he's gonna punch at the same level that he did when he joined City. The numbers that he had that season, and plus with the injuries too. I think he still get those numbers out of somewhere. He'll score goals, but per 90 performance, yeah, I think he did regress a bit because of the system, is what I feel. You were saying?
No, I agree. That's why I think when you look at Haaland in isolation, right? He doesn't really offer much. When you look at Isak in isolation, he can actually hold up the ball and not only hold it up to pass it, but hold it up to like create opportunities and drive himself with the ball in the 18,
True.
right? I think his technical ability as well for a striker, I think it's good. Um,
I think
he's very
Isak
technical.
is sharper than Holland.
Yeah, definitely. So, I don't know if Erling Haaland is much of a better player than Isak. I think
Yeah.
Haaland might just be in a better team than
No,
Isak.
I think
And
he's a better striker than Isak.
well, but then
Yeah.
again, you look at the chances that fall to Haaland in comparison to Isak. City, they're creating more clear cut chances. They're dominating possession of the ball a bit more. Maybe the only thing that I would say that Haaland has over Isak, yeah, maybe he's a better striker or poacher in the box. He does score a lot of scrappy goals, but he does it well. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that he scores more quality goals than Isak. If you look at a lot of the goals that Isak scores, they're more quality in terms of the strike compared to Erling Haaland, who he just scores for fun. But it's not necessarily like quality goals compared to Isak. You know what I'm saying?
I hear
Like
you. Yeah, I get what
Erling
you're
Haaland will
saying.
like bully
Like
you.
from outside the box. Like
Yeah, type
Isak
of
has
thing,
more prolific scoring opportunities for sure. Like he's done that.
Yeah.
Like I agree with that. Yeah.
With Haaland, he like just bully you and get on the end of a ball type of thing. He'll get on the end of a header, use his power. But
Yeah.
not to take not to take anything away from his game, but that's like the differences with both players. How many goals did Haaland score in his first season in the Prem? Like 30 something?
Some insane numbers, yeah, 30 something, 35, I think, if I'm not wrong.
You don't think Isak could have easily done that now?
No, I think he scored 29. I don't know. Just check the stats. Isak, no, not with Newcastle, bro.
No, no, with like if he was in that City team.
He could have.
Yeah.
He could have. But again, um, discipline, too much control, restrictions over your roles. I think little. It's a weird shout. Yeah, I don't think Isak would like to go to City. I think he'd like to come to Liverpool, to be honest. And
Or Arsenal.
yeah, and I think that sort of camaraderie that you need with Isak's inclusion in Liverpool is just going to fulfill, Onslaught's requirement. And we haven't had replacements for people like Vinaldum and all these midfielders that we had at one point in time. He tried to dissipate those thoughts by bringing in players like Thiago, who offered us a lot more than that. But no one, I haven't seen a workhorse like Vinaldum. Vinaldum Prime, unbeatable. Unbeatable. Liverpool are going to be massive. Isak injury prone.
I think his injuries have. I think his injury record has improved this season
Yeah.
because he has played quite a few more games this season in the Premier, especially compared to the his first season.
Yeah. More chances than take on done by Isak. Pedro Porro. What's up? Second half is on.
Yeah,
Tottenham's in possession.
was that Archie Gray on the bench?
Yeah. I think Nottingham's gonna just operate transitionally now. Like they're not gonna go toe to toe. Like what they did in the first half. Like I think they're gonna be on a block now. Or maybe dispersed here and there. Thank you. Key?
The tea is spicy today.
Thank you. You forgot about me. Huh? You forgot about me.
No, why would I forget about you? I'm angry at you.
Why?
Oh, think about it. Yesterday night.
Wait.
Yes, I think Isak injury record has improved. Guys, subscribe to my channel, Kish. No,
Yeah, please subscribe to his channel.
full
Kish,
90 with Kish. Yeah.
Full 90 with Kish. He just started that. He already has 2,000 subscribers on 433 Presser. You can go and check that out too. Yeah, that's his. But now Full 90 with Kish is his primary channel. I'll put the links for that too. Wait. Yeah, Spurs are gonna do something like they have to do something. Oh, that was a good pass by Kulusevski. What timestamp are you on?
49:37. We're on the same.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, you're ahead of me. Great, great. Thank you, Hero Brian. Hero Brian also has a good community. He's a Liverpool fan. He's got a great community. It's called Cop of India.
Cup of India.
Yeah.
India. Who do they have more, Liverpool or United fans?
Even my girlfriend is laughing. Who do you think India? Who do you think supports more in India? I
I
think
think I
it's
think
United.
United.
Her, should I say it? Okay. Even her ex used to support Man United.
So why didn't you support United? Like, why Liverpool? What got you into supporting Liverpool, by the way?
There's only one answer to that. Steven Gerrard. And plus also like this is a weird thought. Like in my school days, there was this Carlsberg logo that I was really fascinated with because my dad used to drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
So I used to see it on Liverpool's jersey all the time. And plus, my grandfather used to watch a lot of United games, and I used to sit with him and watch all those games. We watched the 2002 World Cup on Doordarshan. I remember that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
to be funny, a funny story. Like the first club I started to support was actually Liverpool, and it was because of that same what's the name? Carlsberg.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think it was back in when it was when Stevie G and those guys were there back in like
yeah, yeah,
2013, maybe 2020, 2011. I was
yeah.
pretty young that time. I was like 8, 9, and they had that Carlsberg as the sponsorship on the shirt, and I used to watch them. But I didn't really have an understanding of football, so I wouldn't say that I was supporting them. It was the first official football team in England
Mm-hmm.
I would have watched on cable. But with United, when I started to play FIFA, it was Rooney. I remember seeing Rooney on a cover. He was on a
I
cover.
think it was 2011 into
Yeah,
28,
yeah,
2008, eight.
yeah, around that time, like
Yeah,
2011, one of
2008.
those. His head was bald and whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
I think AIG was the sponsor for United back then, and
2008,
yeah,
2007.
and the more I started to play FIFA was like I just fell in love with United and Rooney type of thing. And Rooney's my favorite like United player of all time.
Yeah, he was a beast. He was a fucking beast. Yeah, I get it, sometimes like I think about it like Salah physically, like as a natural footballer without the numbers, is nowhere near the legends. Nowhere near Rooney, nowhere near anyone. But
Who was a better Premier League legacy, like Ronaldo or Salah?
bro, Salah, man, you can't disrespect that.
But
Salah.
Ronaldo won a Ballon d'Or at United.
He must have. We are talking about longevity as well, right? Ronaldo chose to join another club. Salah's been here since his last what eight ongoing years. This is gonna be his
But
ninth season. Like, come on, you gotta
Ronaldo
put
has
some
more
respect
Prem
on him.
than Salah.
Why? What happened?
Huh?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Now I'm saying Ronaldo has more Prems than Salah. So
See, you are talking. We are talking about individual players and what they've achieved. Salah is in the top goal scorers list. He's almost gonna beat he can beat Rooney's record too, Shearer's too, if he stays if he's here scoring goals for us next season and the season after. Like, I think you that just takes it all away from Ronaldo. It doesn't matter. Individual recognition and collective rewards are brilliant, but we are talking about two players here, right? And one player cannot take the shine away from anyone. You're telling me a Salah with the City would have not won the Prems? He would have, right?
yeah, it
Yeah.
would have had more.
Hmm. Yeah, but an individual, this is just my opinion, right? You can have yours, but then at the same time, I just feel fuck touches in opposition box. Tottenham have had 28 touches. Nottingham have had 3 touches. You tell me. Oh God, another.
Oh, they're in behind.
Oh.
They're in behind. Oh fuck, he missed.
Yeah, Morgan gives
Give
wide
right.
open opportunity.
Oh, should have
How is
scored.
this? How statistically and visibly, like I can't believe this. Like
And that,
Tottenham
that
have.
that again was basically one ball over the top of the defense, and they're in behind.
Okay, I want to ask you one question. I wish Rooney played for Liverpool. I want to ask you one question. Prime Suarez or Prime Rooney?
Going with Rooney.
I think I'll go with Suarez. What I saw from Suarez at Liverpool was, and that too, like individually, right? There was no supportive index. There was no, you know, support from the midfield. We had this SAS thing going on at that time when he was there with Sturridge. And I thought that is gonna last long, way too long, but it did not. Have you tried some Indian tea ever?
Uh, I don't think so.
You should. I think you'll like it. What is your staple diet like?
Um, Is Shy considered as Indian tea?
Joy, yeah. Joy is
But I
Indian.
think that's like a generic type of thing. So I don't even consider that Indian tea, to be honest.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
think I tried Shy once.
it
What's
is.
my staple diet like?
Yeah,
As in like everyday eat?
yeah.
Shit, to be honest, bro. Like I eat anything, to be honest. Like not like pork or beef type of thing, but I don't have a set diet. Like where like my intake is like mostly proteins or like whatever the hell it is. What do they have?
And I
Proteins
think
and
I
what?
think you're a healthy eater is what I think.
I don't think I'm as healthy as I should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was even thinking about joining the gym even today as well. I need to check it out. Bro,
Fuck.
why is this
You know how much
what
I
is he
weigh?
doing? Bro, what kind of gay shit is this? Like what is this guy doing?
Who?
Bro, he was on his ass just now.
Who?
I even know.
Okay. Yeah, terrible link up again. Tottenham trying to mulch something out of the situation. What about man? They're a bunch of noobs. I don't know. They had plenty of opportunities in the first two. Plenty. So we have two new players coming from the bench. Hudson Odoi, the Chelsea reject coming on. And then I think it's gonna be Ryan Yates. I don't know if he's Ryan Yates. Yeah, bro. What do you think about this? Rooney chose the wrong club. He should have played for Liverpool, but went to Everton. But bro,
Bro,
he joined.
Liverpool, they weren't winning anything
He
back then.
started with Everton, went to United, went back to Everton. I think his hate for Liverpool is like,
How did he choose the wrong club when Liverpool they weren't winning anything? So,
what
you
do you
know.
mean?
What did you guys do in the early 2000s?
Champions League,
Yeah, that's it. And FA Cup
FA
type
Cup.
of thing. I mean,
Yeah, I get it. I get it. United
early
dominated that era for sure.
2000s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, it was dominated by Arsenal, Chelsea, and United.
True, and I think even like when you talk about brand pull, like the brand prism, for me the most lucrative at that time was Arsenal, and then Arsenal, United, and even Chelsea wasn't bad. People were attracted to Chelsea.
Bro, honestly, if players back then weren't as loyal to their like smaller respective teams, teams like United and Arsenal would have probably dominated football a bit more, if they got some of the signings that they actually wanted at some point in time. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Fergie and these guys, they wanted a lot of players, which they had discussions with them. It's just that loyalty was a bit more for some players back then. But
Yeah,
if you ask them no, would they have moved? Some would say yes because of the money that you earn now in football.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I
Because
agree.
even this guy at Southampton, Southampton legend, can't remember his name. Was it?
Who are you
It's
talking
not.
about?
No, it's not. No, Paulo Di Canio was West Ham.
Yeah,
There's this Southampton legend. He stayed there. Was supposed to come to United.
if Harry is still in the chat, he'll know. I don't know if he's there.
I'm gonna tell you who.
Adi, one of my friends. Wait,
hmm It's Matt Letizia.
uh,
Yeah, I think he was supposed to come at United at one point, but he was just loyal to Southampton.
that's what even Ward-Prowse I felt because Southampton were getting relegated. He would have never left Southampton. I think he was happy there. In fact, think they used to run things around him. You know, he was the center of attention for everything. Like literally, like he was at the center of things for um, set pieces, their tempo. He used to run their tempo, literally. Like
Yeah,
even under, I remember that season under Hassan Huttle. Like, bro, they were pressing like anything. Like they were insane to watch. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they collapsed after 2 seasons, and that relegation was so sour. Yeah, it left a really bad taste in their mouth, and then they never really made it to the Premier League. Like they're just like entrants and keep coming back and keep getting relegated. Same with Leicester. I think there are other teams which have consolidated and used their funds in the right manner. It's sad with what happened to the Leicester owner. I think the collapse happened because of a reason, but still, I mean, you need to maintain a
So
certain
you feel like the
standard.
death of the Leicester owner affected the club?
Sorry?
You feel as if the death of the Leicester owner affected the club?
I think so.
I mean, after he died, I mean they were finishing in like European spots, won the FA Cup. I don't know what went wrong, honestly. I think maybe after they built that training facility, that's where everything went wrong.
Right. Right. No, even like financially, I think Leicester got bought right recently after the death of the owner.
I'm not sure, didn't they?
Wait.
I don't think they sold. I know that they had some financial issues in the championship because of like the amount of players that they would have acquired, type of thing.
No, no, it's the same family. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, like
I mean, even after the death, I think they even did much better. Yes, they didn't win the Prem, but they started to become a regular in the top six. Back to back, they finished fifth
hmm
in the Europa League spot. Went on to win the FA Cup. You know,
yeah,
the season in which they got relegated, I'm not sure what happened. Would have to revisit that.
yeah. No, I think they lost a lot of finances.
And I think what happened to Leicester as well, it was more the incomings. A
True.
lot of the outgoings, the Harry Maguires and Chilwell, they didn't really replace some of those players. I think they did, Sayuncha and those guys. But for some reason, whenever they got new players, they looked good. But then after a period of time, they became shit. Like Sayuncha was like, remember when they got him, like we're thinking,
Mm.
oh shit, like he was better than Maguire,
Yeah,
right?
even Passport Michael, like he disappeared out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like
he
two
left.
two bad seasons, and
Um,
then yeah,
yeah, so quite a few players, and then they had a lot of injuries. James Justin was a crucial player for them. Pereira at one point in time was a brilliant right back for them. He had a lot
Pereira
of
was really good,
injuries.
and he's still good. Ricardo
Yeah,
Pereira, but he's injury prone. Yeah, so
yeah, he had a lot of injuries. Madison had some injuries as well. Yuri Tillerman's left on a free. It's
yeah,
just a lot of things happened to Leicester, man. You know. But then again, even the team that would have gotten relegated, I mean, Madison and Tillermans and those guys were still there. That team should have never been relegated.
correct.
And who was the manager then? It wasn't Brendan Rodgers. It was somebody else, right? I think it was somebody else.
Um, for Liverpool.
No, Leicester when they got relegated. I'm trying to remember who was the manager because I think they had.
Yeah, yeah, it was Ranieri. Ranieri.
Oh yeah, no, Claudio Ranieri went back to Leicester.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
They got relegated with Ranieri.
Yeah, should have brought in a more serious manager to be honest.
He won the Premier League and they got relegated. Oh man, you fucking
I mean,
noobs.
even though they got rid of him, like that's not even like a sacking to be honest. I mean, you won the Prem with Leicester. Like I could give zero shits if I got sacked.
Uh,
Like the Premier League, come on, man, that's etched in history.
oh, what? That was a good touch. Good turn by Morgan Gibbs White, but that's not a yellow card.
Mm.
That's not obvious. Or did he step on his boot?
Mm, it did
He
stretch,
got the
but
ball.
yeah, I didn't think he made any contact with him to that extent.
Yeah, weird. Nico Williams. Yeah, they made a substitution. I didn't see. Is that Danso? Yeah, Danso.
Johnson's coming on.
Yeah, I think Danso's coming for Van de Ven, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. Or maybe it's just no, they're still playing. Or maybe it's just Matasa.
And Richarlison tattoo on his neck is so fucking ugly.
Who's Nick?
Richarlison's so
Yeah, I
stupid
know.
tattoo.
Yeah. Um. So I think Cristiano's wife was talking about how he did not get his body tattooed because he's wanting to be the right role model for the upcoming generations.
Mm,
Um, and how he is advocating to live a healthy lifestyle. I think Ronaldo is a brilliant guy, to be honest. Like the way he's actually managing everything, like
yeah.
his PR, his image is really good, barring a few scandals that he was involved in with a couple of models. I think that came into existence out of nowhere. I think he wasn't involved in that, barring one, which happened in LA. I think it was with the model who got impregnated, and then um, he offered her like 50, 60 million or something. Yeah.
Bro, I think when you're a celebrity, some shit is just bound to happen to you, like scandals, like even if it's not true.
Yeah.
Like the smallest interaction with like a fan or somebody can turn into a lawsuit. Like, you know, some scandals, I believe, there is truth to it, as well as many other scandals, I believe that they're false. Um, yeah, so when you are a celebrity, you have to be very careful.
I agree.
You really have to keep out of the way of people. Even today, there's a recent lawsuit against Shannon Sharp, right?
Who?
Shannon Sharp.
No.
Steve Naismith.
Yeah.
All right, so his work partner, this black guy,
Uh,
yeah, that guy.
right.
A Jane Doe today brought a $50 million lawsuit against him for like sexual assault or something like that.
Oh.
So yeah, bro, it's like you know, not saying it isn't true, but
Hmm.
oftentimes you see these lawsuits come out of nowhere, like, and I'm sure with her coming out now, you probably have like a ton load of women coming out saying that he did something to them.
Correct.
It's hard to be a celebrity.
Yeah. Luis Murillo stepping up, bro. Like literally dispossessing Matasa. And Brennan Johnson and Solanke, by the way, have been subbed on. And
Yeah,
Richarlison is still on the pitch. What is he doing? Did they take Odegaard off?
I think
Johnson.
I think the best player for Spurs in this game, attacking wise, has been Tell to some extent.
He's been a good outlet, but not a good finisher. He's had a couple of opportunities. I
Yeah.
think Odegaard as well
Well, yeah.
created good chances.
Other Bert as well hasn't been bad.
Odegaard, yeah,
Oh, that's a foul there. No, no foul. Wow, that's not a foul
no,
on wood.
I don't think he got much on that. On Word,
Yeah,
yeah, I think I'm a little behind. Wait, let me refresh the stream.
on Chris Wood, that's a foul. He comes right across, like he's blocking him right there. Yeah, that's a foul to me.
What timestamp are you on again?
70:09.
Yeah,
Yeah, and even the first half, we would have been discussing, whether or not Spurs would have scored, and you know,
yeah.
they showed nothing really and truly to get back into the game. No fight, no heart, no guts, nothing. They haven't showed anything to get back.
I think I think they showed a bit of hunger, but then they couldn't match it with their abilities. To be honest, I mean, they lack focus. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, this is what I was talking about. You need to condition yourself to play a game of football, bro. It's not easy. Like, imagine if we used to feel that mental fatigue when we play games against other teams. What must these footballers be going through, despite being professionals? Oh, another opportunity. Go on away. The Spurs have had plenty, bro. They've had plenty.
You're working tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm working. So
Yeah.
4 days.
What time you working tomorrow?
Um, so I'll be back by say 5:30 p.m.
Okay.
That's 8:30 p.m. your time. So we can definitely do a stream at 6.
Yeah, let's see what we can do tomorrow.
Yeah, so weekdays I'm free after 6 p.m. That is 9 p.m. your time.
Okay. Bro, we just need to start building an audience, you know? It's very difficult, but if we're consistent, then it can happen.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, as long as you enjoy the process and stay like I solely believe in staying passionate about what you do, like enjoy what you're going through right now because if you stay consistent and you deliver the best is gonna come to you, you know?
Yeah. Like today I posted that video, but hopefully it picks up some steam.
Which one?
Is this the worst Premier League season ever?
Yeah, I think we should have a debate on that too. Did you check my video out yesterday?
Which one is that?
Liverpool won the league.
No, I have to check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
Well, I didn't watch it, but I did like it.
Which one?
Same Liverpool one.
The one that I posted?
You in the group last night?
Oh, you watched it?
No, I didn't watch it. I liked it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, because Steph had replied to it, so I just clicked on it at the same time.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it to see why next season would worry you. Yeah, but this season is a bit like boring, you know?
No, not really. I've enjoyed it to be honest.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
been
there's
really
some
competitive.
excitement to it, but I'm just saying, like, bro, Liverpool winning the league, and it's not because I dislike Liverpool or anything, but I just don't see that excitement from Liverpool fans, you know? Like, I'm
That
sure,
no, I think we are excited. It's just that we are going through a phase where you if you win a competition, you gotta win it like champions, right?
Mhm.
Now we've had a last couple of like games where we've been on the edge. Literally, we could have lost a couple of fixtures, but we won them. So I think with the performances, but with the results, it's a massive boost to what our moods could have been. But still, we've gone through a period where we got out of the Carabao Cup finale. We couldn't win that. We lost to PSG in the Champions League final, the quarterfinals, round of 16. So that I think that impacted my mood for sure. And there are so many Liverpool fans out there who will disagree with you. They'll say that winning the Premier League was unexpected and we should be happy with that. But then the reality is, any club, any fan base, when your expectations have changed, and obviously they are ever changing in nature, which is good, your opinions, your moods are going to change with that. So by the starting of Jan, I was expecting us to give a good stiff competition, at least get 2 trophies out of this, because I was quite confident that we'll win the Premier League. But for the Carabao, I had high hopes. For the Champions League, I at least wanted us to give a fight. If you
Mhm.
give a terrific performance and then you go down, you're still happy with what you've done. But we did not. There was no element of bravado. There was nothing against PSG. So I have expressed my disappointment on ample occasions. So I'm pretty satisfied with, you know, not living in delusion and accepting what I'm going through. And I'm pretty vocal about it. But
Yeah,
I've spoken to so many fans who disagree with me, who are like, you cannot talk about the club like this. I'm like, dude, if you don't want me to talk facts, if you want me to be a top red and ignore the negatives and just focus on the good things, I mean, that is not how the world works. You don't get to live in a utopian vision of what could have been. There's no could have been, there's no would have been, there's no should have been. It is what it is.
yeah. It's what's been.
Yeah. Yeah. Nottingham, bro. Confident on the ball, even though they've had sporadic transitional displays, but the moment they get on the ball, within a few passes, they make the most out of it. Like this has been their trajectory always. They'll stick to the same plan and they're difficult to beat.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the distance, I think they are going to end up covering more yards for the team than anyone else.
I think Spurs, I think they're even worse in the second half compared to the first half.
Correct, correct. I
They've
think
done,
because Nottingham sort of went on a little block. Like I wouldn't say it's
yeah,
a complete
they've
block,
been
but
sitting in blocks now.
yeah,
Because Spurs, they've not really created anything in the second half where even not half chance to any extent where you could say, no, that should have been a goal or something like that. I think the
yeah,
first half, that's where they had most of those chances. But first, you just look at the amount of players in front of the goalkeeper right now. They're forcing them out wide. They're compact to the middle. They just won back the ball just
yeah,
now. Forcing them out wide again and then having those numbers.
correct.
Hudson-Odoi. It's a good run by Hudson-Odoi just now. Uh, tried.
That was tremendous.
Yeah. But how do you connect the StreamYard, the OBS to the StreamYard again?
So when you go to OBS, there's a start virtual camera right below the start stream and everything
Yeah,
on the right
I'm on it now.
panel. Yeah, so start virtual camera means you're establishing a connection with OBS and other streaming platforms. So then once you start it, go to
Mhm.
StreamYard, select the camera option, OBS virtual camera. You'll be able to connect. And what a good connection by Richarlison. That was almost going in. Good header. Yeah, but the keeper made a tremendous save, man. This keeper is amazing. I like him. He's been really good this season. Matt Sells?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good cross by Pedro Porro and good connection with
You go to the settings
Richarlison.
of StreamYard. Okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, just switch on the OBS virtual camera. That's all. Brennan Johnson with the overlap, bro. They've had plenty of opportunities. They should have decimated them. They should have. I've
True.
seen half chances on reckless occasions, and I mean they're literally all over the place. Literally, recurringly, just missing out on those opportunities, which has resulted in what they are today.
Well, I think because I'm on stream now, it's not gonna work. So when I come off, try it. And then when I use the
No, you can
virtual,
do it right now. Maybe you
when I use
can.
the OBS virtual camera, I can still. I'm gonna record through StreamYard, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So whilst recording,
Everything,
I can.
everything through StreamYard. Just the cameras for the displays going through OBS. The mic, everything else is on StreamYard. Yeah, the
Okay, and
basics.
then on OBS, like I can still like customize stuff, and it would show through the screen on StreamYard.
Yes,
Okay, I
exactly.
think I have to do that if I want the microphone to work. So
I think it'll work.
when you're ready to record, do you click record through StreamYard or on OBS?
StreamYard.
Okay, and then like you just like vice
We're only
versa, like
we're only using the camera for OBS. It's all the other settings are the same, right? Because you're using StreamYard.
okay,
So,
okay.
yep,
So I can like switch scenes and all that type of thing as well.
correct,
Okay, nice, nice. And the microphone will be through StreamYard, right?
correct.
Nice. So cross.
Yeah, I told you, man. They're not going. They don't have a chance of equalizing, bro. They don't. Even now, like it's not like Nottingham have had a great defense. I think they were exposed, but Tottenham, man, missing out on those open opportunities. Like this is this is what leads to this sort of a result.
Mhm.
The season's over, I think, and then you get to blame Ange Postecoglou because he wasn't back for the right transfers. I think his tactics are still good enough for making them win. I honestly think that, but this guy needs to like he will. I think they will let him go, unfortunately. But I agree with you. Like he deserves
Anthony
another
scored
go.
tonight.
Ah man, Jed Spence, that was terrible. Yeah, but I can see the worst coming after this result. I don't. I think it's gonna be weirdly. I think Daniel Levy is gonna sack Postecoglou. I can see it coming. I don't know why. Or maybe if he is good enough to understand what he did with Mourinho was wrong, I think he might not repeat the same decision, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's see what he does after the game. I don't see Tottenham making a comeback at all. Poro, Jed. Ah man, Bergwall did not make that run. He should have. Hudson Odoi, 1v1 with Pedro Poro. Squares the ball. Ah, Iwoni. Donso. Hey, that's pulling the shirt. Yeah, even Solanke developed quite well. Playing for Liverpool and then like at Liverpool he was so injury prone. Even now he is, but the periods that he was injured for were really prolonged. And then shifting clubs and Then I think he grew a little, but I think if he had no injuries, I think this guy would have been a world beater for sure. What a
Solanke.
pass!
Yeah, because you guys sold him for like 30 something million, I believe it was.
Yeah, no, we didn't make much out of it.
But wasn't it? Who did you guys sell for 30 something? Wasn't it Solanke?
Maybe I
I
don't
think it
think
was.
so. 30 million.
Like I remember there was a conversation. It was 20 or 30. I remember there was a convo where there was like they were saying like Liverpool sell these players. Spurs scored.
I'll tell you. Free. He was a free transfer, bro.
It was free. No, he left on a free.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
he left
Tottenham. Oh,
Liverpool on a free.
Tottenham have scored a goal, my
Yeah,
friend.
Richarlison.
Why the fuck does this? Oh, yep. Tottenham have scored. That was a good header by Richarlison. Finally, he's come off good, man. You think they'll equalize?
I think so. I think they'll fight for it. I think
Yeah.
they'll fight for it.
Bentuka.
I mean, they've had more
Goal.
possession of the ball. Seen that first. I've sat off for a bit.
Oh god. That was a foul. Yeah. I think you need to remove the backdrop. Doesn't really sit with you.
Oh, the backdrop.
Yeah.
It's my new
Ryan
Pinto.
Yates is coming on. No, he's on a yellow card. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Ben. Who was that? Ben Davies, man. Skyrocketed that. Literally skied the ball, bro. Matthias Tell trying out. Yeah, I think that was a good save by Milenkovic. Tremendous block. Okay, we are almost hitting extended time. God, Tottenham have had an insane number of touches in the box. In fact, Nottingham have just defended. Oh God. I think even Pedro Porro has had a decent game. I think he's had a good game. Like, literally, he's been on a high line, interjecting balls and ruining their build-ups. I think he's been quite disruptive in with Nottingham's offensive play. Oh, Richarlison couldn't contain that. Who you chatting up, bro?
And that's a group. We're talking about the Shannon Sharp thing, the
Oh,
lawsuit, the text messages between the two individuals.
uh, hmm, hmm. Come.
5 minutes added on time.
Yep. Gibbs White is off. Sosa's coming on for Gibbs White. Hudson Odoi, Ryan Yates. Wow, that was a good back pass. Elliot Anderson. Oh, Hudson Odoi drives past the defense. Good run by that. Iboni. Bergwall. Can Tottenham break even? Ah, man. Unlucky.
Set piece.
To follow.
Yes, a foul.
I think the game is about to get over. Yeah.
So it's one last chance for Spurs, I believe.
Yep. Final opportunity in the making, probably. But I don't think they're going to score from this.
I mean, Spurs should just lose, man. Like, they need the points, anyways.
Yeah. Nottingham do. I think they've done a phenomenal job, man, to contain them. But still, they were defensively like susceptible to a couple of their tell.
I think this is it for Forest.
Yep. It's all over for Ange Postecoglou, almost. I've only nice, good turn. No, I think there's one last opportunity, bro. One last. Even the keeper is coming ahead. He's like all or nothing.
Throw in for Spurs. What's going on here?
Uh,
Bro, is it that serious? What the fuck is Poro going on like that for?
oh shit. Is it? What the fuck?
He got stepped on his toe or something. Big Ange. It's a throw. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it's all over now.
Forest in behind.
Oh, good interception, but I think that is Danso.
Free kick.
Ben Davies and Danso. It should be over now. I don't know what is the ref up to.
One more chance for delivery.
Oh god. They don't need it.
Free kick again.
Just
Come on,
blow the
just blow the
whistle,
whistle.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just blow the whistle. Like it's done.
It's in his mouth now. I think I should kick it off the blow. Yeah. Bro, what the fuck is this wrong with this? Oh, it's done. Yeah. Yeah, so it was a good game.
Yep. I enjoyed the first half more.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna end it now?
Yes, let's end the stream. Right, ladies and gents, thank you for joining us, and it was a good stream of football. Enjoyed the comments, everything. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and do subscribe to Kishon's channels. I mentioned them in the description. Take care.
Yep.